Give us your best guess then.
I just did.
No, you didn't. You didn't give us a time. When do you think this is going? Are we going to be here 2 years from now wearing masks?
No,
Jim Jordan asked Dr. Fauci the same question.
Well, let me answer. You're ranting again. Let me
I'm not ranting.
Yes, you are.
No, here's how it works, Dr. Fauci.
Right.
I get to ask you the questions. You're the highest paid official in the United States government. You've given us your advice on baseball, on dating apps, on cruise ships. You told us 0 masks, 1 mask, 2 masks, now back to 1 mask. I'm just asking you, when is it going to end? You can say I'm ranting. I'm actually asking the question that the citizens I get the privilege of representing, and my name actually goes on a ballot. I don't think your name's ever been on a ballot. My name goes on a ballot. The citizens I represent want to know the answer to when they can get their liberties back. You can call that ranting. I actually call it standing up for the Constitution, which I take an oath to uphold, Dr. Fauci, every year, every term that I serve in this Congress representing the folks in the 4th District of Ohio. So it is not ranting. It is defending the First Amendment.
Bye, Jerry.
And we'd like an answer, or your best guess, since you got an answer for everything else. Well, in your written statement, you say, now is not the time to pull back on masking, physical distancing, and avoiding congregate settings. When is the time? When do Americans get their freedom back? Can you put your microphone on, please?
Sorry. When we get the level of infection in this country low enough that it is not a really high threat.
What is low enough? Give me a number. We had 15 days to slow the spread, turned into 1 year of lost liberty. What metrics, what measures, what has to happen before Americans get their freedoms back?
My message, Congressman Jordan, is to get as many people vaccinated as quickly as we possibly can to get the level of infection in this country low that it is no longer a threat. That is when. And I believe when that happens, you will see.
What determines when?
I'm sorry.
What? What measure? Are we just going to continue this forever, or when do we get to the point? What measure? What standard? What objective outcome do we have to reach before Americans get their liberty and freedoms back?
You know, you're indicating liberty and freedom. I look at it as a public health measure to prevent people from dying and going to the hospital.
You don't think Americans' liberties have been threatened the last year, Dr. Fauci? They've been assaulted. Their liberties have.
I don't look at this as a liberty thing, Congressman Jordan.
Well, that's obvious.
As a public health thing.
But
I disagree with you on that.
You think the Constitution is suspended during a virus, during a pandemic? It's certainly not.
This will end for sure when we get the level of infection very low. It is now at such a high level, there's a threat again of major surges.
Dr. Fauci, over the last year, Americans' First Amendment rights have been completely attacked. Your right to go to church, your right to assemble, your right to petition your government, freedom of the press, freedom of speech have all been assaulted. I mean, for a year now, Americans haven't been able to go to church. Even today, when they go to church, they're limited in the size of worshipers who can meet. Your right to assemble? Oh, my goodness.
Boom shakalaka, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters around the world. It is your boy, Chris Shule, a.k.a. the Esoteric Noetic, a.k.a. the Chocolate Nubian Soul Brother. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, click on the bell, tell your friends, tell your mom, drop some comments, let us know what it is. Let's get it. If you are checking this channel out for the first time, this is the Exoteric Noetic, my main channel, my new main channel that I'm going to be using to disseminate truth bombs about society, culture, freedom. This is my channel for the normies, for people on team meh. If you want to tune into more of the esoteric, noetical information, so things within not so mainstream circles, check out the Crucial Journey, the Esoteric Noetic channel. There's a link to this on this channel. You can check that out, where I'm going to be covering things that are a bit more catered towards people that are not part of buying into the mainstream narrative. But ladies and gentlemen, how about that video? I fucking love that video because it characterizes how politicians, how doctors, how the establishment answer questions that they don't want to answer. Oh, you're ranting, you're ranting. When that guy gave a very clear question. Oh, you're ranting. I love when people do things like that. They accuse someone of being unclear or not seeing the full picture. Another thing I often hear from people is, oh, you're complicating the issue. Anytime you talk about rights, you're violating my rights. Oh, no. It's more complicated than that. We got to think about people's safety. But what about the Constitution? It's a violation of your constitutional rights. Oh, look, I care about public safety. This is what. And look, I'm very selective when it comes to using the word, but this is what evil people like Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates will always do. They will always convolute the issue. They will always give these generic answers. They will always make it seem as if the greater good is the main focus here. They're utilitarians. And look, I know a lot of people buy into this idea that it's all about being proportionate. We have to put things into perspective. But fundamentally, what these people, if I was to still man the position, Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates, and other people of their ilk are saying is that we have to restrict people's rights, essentially commit violence, force people into their homes, force people to get inoculated through coercive measures that essentially they have no right to do. And the alternative is essentially you will get killed. If you resist, you will be locked up, or you will be killed. They're willing to use force, to be violent on anyone that refuses to comply. And they're supporting governments. They're advocating for this stuff. And a lot of people look at this as if, they're just giving advice, but they're not giving advice. I mean, these figures are essentially using their power to force you to submit to unlawful mandates, unlawful decrees by the government, and then saying that it's necessary in order to protect you. It is for your safety. There is no distinction between what these men do and what all the great dictators of the ancient world have done, whether it's Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar. Call them heroes or evil men. They have always used this argument that it's been done in order to achieve ends. And this is fundamentally what it comes down to. I love it when someone like Dr. Fauci says that it's not about, you look at this as if it's about human rights. I look at this as if it's about public safety. When you say something like that, you're essentially saying objectively that you have no morals. You believe in strategies. And people want to say, oh no, I have morals, I have principles. My principle is to achieve the greatest good. That's a strategy. You're dealing in the potential. You're essentially saying that I'm willing to kill, rape, plunder, do whatever is necessary because I have a goal that I'm trying to achieve, which is exactly the same argument the most evil people make. And granted, people make the distinction that, oh yeah, but these people are doing it to protect everyone. Fauci, Bill Gates, he's trying to heal the world. He's a utilitarian. Well, you have to ask yourself this, are these figures really doing this to heal the world, to make the world better? I mean, arguably you can make that. I can't say what's in their minds, but if you have a look at the fact that these individuals stand to profit a lot, someone like Dr. Fauci has over 1,000 patents with Moderna and would stand to make a lot of money if these boom shakalakas are implemented. Someone like Bill Gates, who is a massive investor of many of these boom shakalaka companies, is making a lot of money by funding these industries. To say that, oh, he's just concerned about everyone else, when fundamentally you can see that this stuff is directly benefiting him, there's no distinction. I mean, what is the distinction between someone that kills 1 million people for their own self-benefit and someone that surreptitiously gets everyone to stay in their homes through the use of the government, essentially uses force, so that they can gain lots and lots of money? I mean, one is selfishly motivated. Now, granted, you can make the argument that it's utilitarian, they're doing it for the greater good, but the greater good is, in their subjective opinion, their benefit. I'm sure someone could make the argument that, look, if they were able to get wealthy, they were able to further their own ends by forcibly locking everyone in their homes, getting them inoculated, getting them to suspend all of their rights. Well, it's benefiting them, and they could use their wealth in order to benefit the entire world. You see where you can go when you start thinking like this? And this is the argument of these tyrants. And I'm focusing so much on this issue because fundamentally it always comes down to this. It's not about the science. It's about the fact that people are being fucking immoral. These people are evil. Make no mistake about it. And yes, I know a lot of you probably relate to them. A lot of you think that this is justified. You think people should be locked in their homes. But yes, I'm calling you evil. I'm calling people that advocate for this kind of stuff, that are saying, I as an individual don't have a right to leave my home unless, of course, I get inoculated, I wear a mask, and I comply with whatever other insane mandate that the government deems is necessary, that you are supporting. I'm calling you unequivocally evil. And the thing is, this is the standard. This has always been the standard. But for some reason, we've obfuscated this idea of right and wrong. And now everyone wants to look at this proportionately and make arguments like, oh, look, mate, we're doing this because we want to keep everyone safe. Oh, look, millions of people could have died. I'm not even going to get into any of that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Stop being a politician. And I know deep down people realize exactly what's going on. They know deep in their hearts that I am 100% right about this stuff because it's common sense. We're all brought up understanding basic right and wrong, but people just get scared and people feel the need to justify their horrible actions. Therefore, they give answers like Dr. Fauci. Oh, you're ranting. Oh, I care about public safety. Oh, I don't know how long this is going to go for. They keep on changing the goalposts. These are the actions of a psychopath or someone that is at least being very, very disingenuous, doesn't want to be forthright, doesn't want to give a definitive answer. This is what politicians do. So when are we going to go back to normal? Well, it's a very complicated situation. Obviously, we got to maintain a situation where people obviously have their freedoms, but obviously we have to be concerned about the safety of our public. And until I feel that the world is a safe place and we can find a balance between our freedom and living a healthy life, I'm unfortunately we will have to do what we have to do. What the fuck did I just say? This is exactly what politicians do. And then so many of you buy into this rhetoric and you go, we love you, Obama. Oh, we love you, Donald Trump. Buy into it. When fundamentally, these people are willing to force you to do shit. Politicians are notorious for speaking like this. Dr. Fauci is no different. I know he's a doctor. I know Bill Gates apparently is the most powerful doctor in the world. Fact check that on Google. But they all speak like politicians, ladies and gentlemen. They will not give you a direct answer because fundamentally, the direct answer is what is going on is not only unlawful, it is absolutely immoral. It is unacceptable. And quite frankly, until enough people decide to get up right now. That's right. Get up right now. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up for your rights. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in getting up and standing up for your rights, be sure to check out my Telegram group, The Christian Journey. Check out the link below. Check out the Hive blockchain. I got a link to Pete, which is what I'm using to post all the truth bombs and what's going on in the world. And stay tuned for more wisdomatic truth bombs from your chocolate Nubian soul brother, Krishul, a.k.a. the esoteric noetic, signing out. Suri Namaskara, Namaste. Ow!
What is liberty?
What the? Who says you can't build muscle on a vegan diet?
What's it like being a hottie in the vegan community? There are no political solutions, only technological ones.
The economics of the system don't allow multiple competing systems to survive.
Engineering, technology, these arts of humanity, they are magic.